About 2,800 years ago, two legendary poets, Hesiod and Homer, defined the Greek religion of their time. In their stories, the gods were powerful, but far from virtuous. They were scheming, vengeful, adulterous, and downright selfish. They were larger-than-life humans with divine powers but no real moral compass. Yet this video isn't about Hesiod or Homer. It's about someone who dared to challenge them, and by extension the entire Greek religious tradition. The name of this man was Xenophanes. Xenophanes was the boldest critic of Greek religion, and he wasn't shy about his disdain for the gods depicted by Hesiod and Homer. He points out that they were modeled by the perspective of a human, and not the other way around. Humans were not created in God's image, but God was created in the image of man instead. Just like if horses had gods, they would sculpt them in the form of horses, Xenophanes says. The gods of Hesiod and Homer were vengeful, scheming, engaging in adultery just like people. Now, what kind of values does this religion uphold, and what example does it show to kids if it is acceptable to cut off your father's balls? Xenophanes not only had a problem with the depiction of the gods in religion and myths of Hesiod and Homer, but also with people using them as a scapegoat for explaining all natural phenomena. All the things the poets explain for gods, Xenophanes calls rubbish. Like, there is no god of the rainbow. Xenophanes says that the rainbow is just a colorful cloud. The sun is not a god either. It is just a bunch of fire that was gathered together at some point. Xenophanes instead proposed that all things could and should be explained without involving God. However, Xenophanes, although a critic, was far from being an atheist. In fact, he was a vouched defender of God. He vouched that all poets should sing praises to them, but not to the gods of Hesiod or Homer, but to the true God, who is in all ways superior to humans. The god of Xenophanes does not wear clothes, maybe he doesn't even have a body, he needs nothing, there's nowhere he needs to go, nothing he needs to do. Yet there are some things which Hesiod and Homer got correctly. Just like in the poems, he is very powerful, capable of shaking everything with just a single thought. And that's all he probably does. According to Xenophanes, he just thinks and perceives. Xenophanes further says that, in fact, thinking is the one thing we have in common with God. Though, of course, not in the same degree of might and power, but maybe that is just how we get closer to him. And that's the only thing that is worthy of him. According to Xenophanes, it is not a stake burned on an altar, but deep introspection regarding the nature of the universe. That is the only thing that is worthy of this God. And those people who hold one to be a god, like Pythagoras was held at the time, are of course complete idiots. A quote from him reads, "God is one among gods and men, incomparable to mortals in body or thought." Now, one difference between Xenophanes and everyone else was that he admitted that there's no way for him to know whether he is right about God or not. Even if he is right, it is just because of luck, since there's no way for us to understand God. With this admission, he was versed in philosophy to differentiate opinion and truth, and whether truth is even attainable. He says there is no way to know God, or in fact, many other things we talk about, and any truth that we actually arrive at is largely because of luck. A quote from him reads, "And of course the clear and certain truth no man has seen, nor will there be anyone who knows about the gods and what I say about all things. But even if, in the best case, one happened to speak just what has been brought to pass, still he himself would not know, but opinion is allotted to all." Xenophanes gives us a hint that he even outpaced Kant and his critique of pure reason by more than 2,000 years. Just like Kant, he effectively says that our limited experience of being human is not able to think about such foreign concepts like God. And so, since we do not have a reliable way of inquiry into him, we cannot know anything about him. However, unlike Kant, Xenophanes still holds that inquiry can still be useful, as although there's no way to know the truth, that is still no excuse for adopting the less likely view of Hesiod or Homer. Even if we cannot be certain of the truth, we should still think and move towards the direction that is more likely to be correct. The legacy of Xenophanes is complicated. For the differentiation between truth and opinion, Xenophanes was held by some to be the founder of philosophical skepticism. According to other scholars, Xenophanes could have been a proponent of fabulism, which is a view that while each individual is free to express his or her opinion, the possibility of error can never be completely excluded. Much of his thoughts regarding truth and opinion were later adopted by Plato, yet later philosophers more generally dismissed Xenophanes in a way. Aristotle criticized Xenophanes since he does not depict God as a cause guiding all things in a particular direction. His scientific views were also laid to the wayside for quite some time, yet eventually history remembered Xenophanes as a thinker going against the grain of the time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.